Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm so excited. So Urban Decay was like they were sending all these bigger influencers this package the other day, and I was following everyone on Snap like click, click, click. I could have used some hot Cheetos, Urban Decay. No, I'm just kidding. But they sent them like all these hot foods, and they said they're dropping something hot. And I was like, what could it possibly be? But I had no idea that they would be dropping another Naked palette. So they came out with the Naked Heat palette. The only thing I could think when I heard Naked Heat, before I even saw the inside, which was very soon after, but the only thing I could think was reds, oranges, those gorgeous like fire colors. This palette did not disappoint. So today I'm going to show you what they sent me in the Naked Heat collection, because they did send me this PR kit, which, oh my goodness, I'm so thankful that I have the opportunity to get these things early so that I can share them with you guys. So thank you so much, Urban Decay. You're probably not watching, but thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to be able to share these things first, give my opinions, and let you all know before they launch like what I think about them. You guys know, if you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Laura, but if you don't know, I love the Naked palettes. I even have a Naked palette series on my channel, which I kind of abandoned, but I'm gonna go back to it now that I have this little baby so that I can do more tutorials with this. But I love the Naked palettes, and one of the palette shade like selections that was missing were really all of these beautiful warm shades. So hallelujah, Urban Decay listened, and they came out with this gorgeous, gorgeous palette. They also dropped 3 lipsticks and 2 eyeliners, which, funny story, I actually thought they were lip liners, and I was like, these are super interesting colors, but they're extra interesting for eyeliners. So I used the collection, the lipstick, the eyeliners, and the palette to create a look, which I will put at the end of this video if you're interested in seeing a look with this palette, so stay tuned for that. But what everybody kind of wants is, what do the shades look like? How do they swatch? What do I think about them? How do they apply? So let's just go ahead and get into the swatches of this collection, and I will tell you all my thoughts. First things first, this is what the palette looks like. It's very similar in packaging to the Naked Smoky palette. It has this more plastic packaging. The other palettes have metal tin packaging, and the Naked one has like a velvet packaging. I actually prefer this packaging. It has more of a, you know, like magnetic secure closure. And then, okay, well first, before we go into the inside, these are like raised letters. You can feel them, but then there's like this overlay where it's like translucent, and then there's something below it. So it's really cool packaging. You guys are probably like, okay, open the palette, dang it. So this is the palette. I don't want to get the mirror and throw off the colors, but these are the beautiful shades. So I'm gonna go ahead and do some close-ups of these, but I swatched them all on my Snapchat initially, and I was like, yes. What I really love is there is a great array of colors. The only thing I think they're missing is a matte shade that's like a matte cream shade. But they do have this shade right here that is kind of like a really great, it looks like it would be pigmented enough to be a transition shade, but honestly it's a great lay your base down and top it with this shade right here, because it's honestly like your eyelid or skin tone color. At least for me, if you're a fair complexion or even medium complexion, this is going to show up kind of like a cream. So I would use these shades, and then I would kind of blend it out to soften the edges with this shade. So it can kind of be used as like a cream shade, but this is a great highlight shade because it's not too shimmery, but it does have a nice sheen. So they have these really great matte shades, then they have these really pretty shades that have like such a nice sheen to them, and then they have the more metallic-y shades, deeper, darker matte shades, which I love, and they're all like such beautiful warm shades. And then this shade right here, which is like I said, it made me want to slap it on my eyelid and call it my mother. I love this last shade so much, which is what I centered my look around. So you guys are probably like, you're crazy, get into the swatches. Okay, so it also comes with a double-ended brush, and so far, let me just quickly tell you my thoughts. I was very, very impressed with the way that they blended, the way that they swatched was great, but it's really about how they apply to the eyes, and I was not disappointed whatsoever. So I'm really, really excited. So let's get into the in-depth swatches, because I think this is going to be a palette that is going to be like winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay, let's start with this shade right here. This has like a slight sheen to it. I'm going to go with this shade, which I said is almost all over the lid color shade. It's really, really pretty, but it's, as a transition, it's really like perfect to put down as a transition, because it makes a great path for this shade right here. So if you lay this down, this shade tops on top of it so easily. So let's just swatch this one. These are very buttery, like the mattes are super duper matte. Now I'm definitely going to show you guys these swatched on my hand as well. So these are just the real quick initial finger swatches. So there are the first 4 shades. These are really great transition shades. Like I said, this one can go down, and then you can layer the 2 darker shades on top, and they blend out so beautifully. Really, really pretty colors, and I think that this is like a good start for a lot of people are looking for these colors, because they're like the basics of a everyday palette, especially like a gorgeous warm palette. Like, I'm so excited, I can't even tell you. Okay, and next shades, we're gonna go to these 4 right here. How pretty. 1, 2, like these 2 are really, really soft and gorgeous. Like, look at that. Let me move the palette so we can see the swatches. Look at these 2 right here. Like, are they, I mean, even this, so beautiful. And this one, it applies so pretty on the eye. That's what I have like tapped in the center of my lid. I mean, they swatch and they apply beautifully. Those 2 like metallic-y shades on the end are so pretty. They're super, super soft and pigmented. These 2 right here, these are just like a really, really nice soft formula. So those are the next 4. Now we are going to go to the last 4 right here, which is this really pretty, darker, almost a little bit more orangey than this one's more red. And then this is more of a reddish. This is a little bit of like a purpley, deep, dark brown. And then this shade is like a bronze with this like pinky, almost orange sort of like shift to it. Oh, it's so pretty. So let's swatch these. These shades. This shade right here was the one that I was like, oh baby, oh baby. Okay, that is the last 4 shades. Like, look at this color. Do you see how it almost has like that corally orange shift to it, but it's like a deeper, darker, it's like basically like this color, but with like a sheen to it. Oh, so pretty, like a warm sheen. So great array of really pretty warm shades. This palette is like literally everything. I think if you love the warm palettes, you're gonna love this. You wanna know what? This is a great option if you were really wanting the Natasha Denona Sunset palette. It doesn't have like, I'm not saying it's identical colors or anything like that, but it does have really, really warm colors. This palette's $54, which is a way better price than the Natasha Denona Sunset palette, but you know, it's priced how all the other naked palettes are from Urban Decay, which I think is very fairly priced for getting 12 shades. I forgot to show you the box. This is the box that it came in, just by the way, if you were curious about it. Let's talk about these eyeliners, which, like I said, I thought were lip liners. I was watching these puppies like they were lip liners. They retail for $20 each. I used both of them in the look today because I was very curious. These are not your typical everyday colors. This is more of like an burnt orange, and this is like a really pretty burgundy, which is hard to find. These are super soft and smooth. They applied really, really well. and these liners last super well. As you can see, like, look how creamy that is. This color is called Alkaline. This shade is called Torch. Is it Torch or Torched? Torch. Burnt Orange. 3 lipsticks were released in this collection. They have this like really pretty copper bullet for this collection. This shade is the one that I'm wearing in the video, and it's called Fuel. It's this cream formula. It's just like a very pretty, creamy, warm peach shade. I love it. Such a pretty lipstick. This shade is called Heat. It is a metallized finish. It's a really pretty reddish shade with some shimmer in it. This also is metallized. It's like a caramel color with gold shimmer, and this is called Scorched. Okay, so that is the full Urban Decay Naked Heat collection. My final thoughts are, I think you need everything. Probably out of the lipsticks, I would only wear the Fuel shade. That's just my personal preference. I would, if I were to be purchasing this collection, I would get the 2 eyeliners, this shade in Fuel, and the palette. The palette's a must-have. Honestly, I think that if you're someone who has not used the Naked palettes in a really long time and you kind of like lost your love affair for them, I think this is going to bring your love affair back. I think this is going to bring back your true love with the Urban Decay Naked series, because this palette is just like above and beyond. I think it's really great. So thank you guys so much for watching. Leave me down below what you think of the palette and if you plan to get it. So I will try and list in the description box the official launch date. I've heard June 20th, then I've heard June 30th. Officially, I think they're gonna launch it a little bit earlier for VIB, I guess, maybe, or like for beauty insiders on, maybe not beauty insiders on Sephora, but I've heard like Urban Decay Junkies, they might release it a little bit earlier, and then you'll have another opportunity to get it everywhere maybe on June 30th, I think. I'm gonna list what I find down below, so definitely check there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, and if you would like to see this look, then I'm gonna go ahead and get into the tutorial now.
Let's start out with this color Chaser, which is a really, really nice, I would say, as you can see, it's like not very pigmented, but it made a great transition color, as in like a great base, like all over the lid. So I ended up just sweeping it all over the lid so that all the other shades went on a little bit more smooth. Now I'm going into the color Sauced, which is a really nice, lighter, warm brown. This is a great transition shade. I think it's like the perfect transition shade for the palette because it is that nice warm, but it's not too dark. And then I'm going with Low Blow, which is a little bit more of like a yellow. I mixed, like, has a little bit more yellow to it than Sauce does. I mixed Low Blow with He Devil, which is an orangey, more orangey shade, like a warm orangey brown. So mix those two together, and I concentrated on the inner and outer since I wanted to go all over the lid with a really pretty, that really pretty ember color. So I'm using those to kind of sandwich together and leave the lid space. Now I was super sloppy with this. I got it in my eyebrow, but I used that ounce shade and put that on my brow bone, and then I went in with El Fuego and Ashes, which are the 2 darker shades. They built up really, really nice, but I tried to concentrate them mostly on the outer corner, and then I built it up on the inner corner. But those 2 shades together are beautiful for darkening up the look. Now for the lid shade. This shade in Ember was like, it's so beautiful. Do you see? It's like this dark bronze, and it has this sheen to it, which is fine if you wanted to leave it alone. So I also put it on this brush that came in the palette and sort of moved it throughout my crease. And then I decided to top it with this shade Scorched, just because this color was really, really beautiful, and I wanted to sort of bring out that. Why do I always get emails when I am filming? I like never get emails, and then I always get them when I'm doing a voiceover. Anyways, I wanted to bring out that coral shift to it. And then I'm using the eyeliner that came in this collection, which are Alkaline and Torch. So I'm putting Alkaline on top and Torch on the bottom. Then I'm blending out my lower lash line with Sauced and Lowdown just to bring that nice orange. I mean, that color is super unique. I don't have any eyeliners like those. Then I decided to darken it up a little bit with this Ember shade, so I put that on the lower lash line. I applied a little bit of mascara. I think this is the Essence Lash Princess. I didn't apply too much mascara because I was going to go in with false lashes. I decided to go with Salon Perfect 615s. You can find these at Walmart. Then I put that ounce shade in the inner corner. This is Dana. She was making fun of me, so I said I'm going to put her on blast. And then I'm going in with my lip liner. This is, I think, from Lancome. It's like Bronzed Rose, maybe. And this is the Urban Decay lipstick from the collection in the shade Fuel, which is this beautiful like nude peach shade. That is the finished look. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing this palette. I will do many more looks. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you all in the next video.